I've tested a lot of rangefinders over the years through the Fun Golf website, so I think I'm in a good place to give you my opinion. Talk about PEAKPULSE. They're not very well known. They sell mainly via Amazon and direct from their website. When you come across their brand, you might quickly scroll past, not realising what a bargain they offer in their laser rangefinders. But first of all though, let's be clear when comparing. This is a budget rangefinder. The price comes in around £70 or $85, so certainly an entry level versus other rangefinders on the market. However, it's a hidden gem. Keep watching finder. You'll also receive a cool looking carry case. What I really liked was how easy it is to take it out of the case, no messing around, and a magnet that's really strong, and it never came apart by accident when I was playing on my rounds. It has a replaceable battery, so it's not USB charging. Now that's fine with me, but it might not suit everyone. In my experience of playing twice a week, I found that the battery life lasts around 6 months in rangefinders. This one is easy to switch in and out, it's just a little turn. It's got CR2 batteries which can be bought from any shop that sells them, no specialist batteries required. The only problem with USB charging rangefinders is that you can't just leave them clipped on your bag. They'll have to come inside and be charged before your round, which if you're not very organised like me, it can be a bit of a pain and you could end up on the course with a flat rangefinder. Now it feels quite premium and I like the grip, and in comparison to other rangefinders, this has a rubbery grip at the top and at the bottom, so no risk of slipping even if you dare to play in the wet weather. It's the PEAKPULSE rangefinder way. Well, who cares? Well, actually the fact that it only weighs 91 grams is really important to know. If a rangefinder is too light, it might be hard to stabilise when you're aiming at your target and you might need to use 2 hands. Now, this rangefinder is actually very light in comparison to other rangefinders on the market, but for me I often use 2 hands anyway to stabilise, so it makes no difference to my game. But if you want to use one and you're used to using one, this will help you dial in the perfect yardage. However, when comparing rangefinders, you'll see that some more expensive rangefinders have a range of up to 1,000 yards. But that's great, but in golf do you really need to have that much distance? Most golfers will need less yardage than a par 5 hole, so I don't think this should be a feature that you need to worry about too much, and definitely don't pay more money for it. Now, in all the reviews I watch, they get really hung up on the accuracy of rangefinders. Now it's important, but the PEAKPULSE rangefinder is accurate to plus or minus 1 yard. Now I use it to complement my GPS watch, and I use a ShotScope V3, which gives me front, middle and back. So I usually just use a rangefinder to confirm specific yardages and give me a bit more confidence when I'm selecting the correct club. I suppose if you're a single figure handicapper or better, you might need a rangefinder which you can really rely on. However, during my rounds, when I checked the yardages against my GPS watch, they seem pretty accurate, and at my level of golf, as a 10 handicapper, that's absolutely fine with me. The other point I see reviewers focusing a lot of time on is how long it takes a rangefinder to return the distance. But don't worry, with this review I won't need to get out my stopwatch, the measurements come back straight away. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know one of the features I think you should always get on a rangefinder is adaptive slope technology. In simple language, just helps you correctly measure the distance to the target. So if you're aiming for a raised green, it will tell you how much extra yardage to add, and vice versa. Now this is actually illegal in competitions, and if you use it in your monthly medal, you can get disqualified if you use it. The PEAKPULSE rangefinder has a slope function which can be turned on and off. There's a button underneath the eyepiece, just here. Now there's no LED light to indicate whether it's on or off, but I guess as long as you tell your playing partners you're not using it, I don't see any problems. Unless they're like some of the members at my club. So this is a really good rangefinder, and as I said earlier, it's packed with features.